Well, I thought this morning would be a good morning to do a garden update. Alright, so I guess we'll start over here. Got this ricotta. He is just staying pretty small. Not producing much of any peppers. And then I got my row of different habaneros. And these are all the Chinense varieties. This is a ghost right here. He's getting pretty tall. I didn't know that this would get that tall because last year the ghost ended up got some kind of fungus and it died. I got some Roma tomatoes. These for some reason are just, I don't know, maybe they're doing fine, but they just blew up now. They've got this new crazy growth on it, but for some reason they're staying like way shorter than like down here where this is. They're like way up here, and all these are just leveled off. The only difference between the two are, these ones aren't necessarily Romas, but they are grafted onto different rootstocks, each and every one of them, and that's supposed to help plant vigor, and I think that might be the case in this matter. Right here we got a ghost. This is a Chernero mixed with habanero. And I got a Trinidad scorpion. This is a Tabasco right here. And then we got Aji Rico bush. This thing is just, it's got peppers, it's got flowers. I just picked a bunch off of it. But this thing was, it's a clone, a number of clones that I rooted in water and then just transferred them into soil. Oh, and here, one day I was cutting a circle out of something and I had this left over and I just cut a little slot in it, slid it around the plants, and that really helps maintain your moisture levels in your pots if you use pots. We've got a tomato here that has a potato leaf style. Almost all of them had these tri-leaves. It's starting to change maybe. I don't know, they're still pretty wide. Still not getting any tomatoes on that. And then we've got some ornamentals here. This one's called a shoe pepper. We have a black pearl here, which is very dark, and it is starting to get some of these round peppers. And this is a tricolor variegata. This is a very stunning plant. I would say one of my favorite. And we got some Tabasco growing upside down here. It's doing pretty well. And then I don't know what the heck this is, but just kind of started growing out of the side. Maybe, I know it's some kind of weed, but it's not really harming anything, so it's staying. Some basil down there. This looks like I think it's a better boy. It just kind of popped up in the same pot that this Tabasco right here. We got more habanero. I don't know. I think this is a red habanero. For some reason, that thing's growing a lot bigger than the other habaneros. And then we got this one plant down here. Keeps producing, oh, dang bugs. Keeps producing these beautiful, vibrant blue flowers. I'm about to look up what they are. Whatever they are, they provide a really good ground cover here in between my plants. Along with this mint, I've got this field mint that I got from my fishing spot. It does very well, and it shades the ground. It seems to be helping. Oh, I think there's a pepper back there. A couple of them. Definitely got some mosquitoes. We got a basil plant that's just doing great. And everything's really growing good. Looks like this is a trail from my cat. So, got all different kinds of peppers in here. And these are all the grafted ones, which are, these are putting on fruit now. It's a nice one here. I think these are Campbell's. So these two actually might not be grafted. Let me see. They have little tags. Oh, and this little plant, this is, some call it like lemongrass, but it's boy, I forget what it's called now. It's too early for this. Some spinach that went to seed. Some lettuce growing here. I think the more diverse the plant system is, the better everything seems to grow. Oh, and these are all grafted. It's just, I mean, this thing's as tall. It's probably as tall as my chest right now. But this plant is grafted at the bottom. I don't know if you can tell anymore. I'll show you. I don't even know if you can tell. This one, maybe you can tell. Graft clip fell off a long time ago. I think this one's a better boy. I got a lot of destroyed plants during 2 hailstorms, but everything seemed to bounce back really well. This one is a Carolina Reaper that's grafted onto a, what is it? Man, I'm having brain farts this morning. It's grafted onto not a poblano, but a Anaheim. Yeah, Anaheim. Let's see, some grafted plants. You put it on different kinds, they seem to do fine. So Tabasco, it's blowing up. It's BBG7. It's going to be a super hot. This is mixed with a Pimenta de Naida. Wow, do I got a pepper? That thing's black as night. Wow, I think they got a pepper. Well, that's cool. And then there's this black curl back here that's not really all black, but it is producing the marble-like peppers inside. This thing is I actually have no idea what this is. It's a random mystery one that the seed vendor had sent. And see, it has purple flowers and a little Japanese beetle hanging out there. And we got an explosive amber. These are pretty cool plants. And this one right here in this circle, that's my overwintered Carolina Reaper. And separated, this is my son's Trinidad Scorpion. I mean, it looks like it's all one plant, but they're different. And we got fish pepper, which is pretty cool. Even puts striping out on the peppers. So far, I'm impressed with the looks of this one. And just by looks, you can kind of tell that this plant right here is darker, and that's a poblano. I don't know why they're darker, but it's almost ornamental, like to mix this in with your other peppers because it gives it a bit of contrast. But I mean, as you can see, they're just all the different types of leaf shape we have here, from variety to variety. I believe these are this is the German variety from my mother. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, we got GE3, so this is definitely German. That one's a German. They were picked from different different peppers. I wanted to see if I got some different hybrids maybe. And here's another tricolor variegata. It's got a little pepper on it, I think, somewhere. Oh, I might have ate it. But all throughout here we have more of that ground cover plant that has very bright, vibrant blue flower. Nice to look at. Yeah, everything is just growing at maximum capacity right now. Really nice morning here in Kansas. I'd love to tell you what all these peppers are, but I mean, we would be here all day, me trying to decipher what they are. I mean, I know what a lot of them are, but some of these back ones, it takes me a good minute to figure out what they are. These worms keep throwing up stuff over the labels because they're building my soil for me. This one's very, very dark. Wow, what's going on here? Kind of looks like I'm getting a pointed pepper right here. It's supposed to be round. Maybe it's a natural hybrid from the seed vendor. I wouldn't mind. But scattered throughout here, there's a number of, and there's peppers all over these plants. But this is just the start. Fish pepper here too. Got some random, I got some grafted ones back here, which I had a really weird result with this one grafted pepper. I put two different species together in a graft to see if that caused any problems. And as you can see here, it says Jito 4. That's for Halashito. It's my code name. So here at the bottom, the Halashito, it sprouted out a branch from the root, and it grew a Halashito here, which is my own cross, right? And on the top part of this here, this is an Ahi Rico, which is a different species. And typically these things are more like elongated, but for some reason in this case, this plant is only throwing off more of like a rounder one. So I don't know what's up with that, but it's different. And see, throughout here we got beans planted. We've got another random mystery small, I don't know what it is. This one was something of my interest. It's a Baccatum of some sort, but it's starting to throw out a pepper now. I don't know what it is. It's probably a little hot little thing here. And then my wife, she planted some Wandering Jews that I had rooted in water. It's the way to do it. And then we have another couple of mysteries now. I don't really know. Still don't even know what it is. Maybe Anaheim. There's another mystery here. There's that fish pepper with the stripe. Someone's chewing on that thing. But these ripen to a red. These fish peppers were known to be a spice that they used to put in some kind of like fish sauce or something. Back the African Americans would use it. It's pretty historical. And this is BBG7 mixed with a fermented Danida. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. And a deer antler. Which last year I had a deer antler in the soil like this, and we found that the plant was actually reaching into the deer antler to, I don't know if it was feeding on calcium or whatnot, but the roots went right into it. Maybe it was getting moisture. And these are Sawyers. He's got a big old, I mean, that's big for me right now. That's a healthy looking tomato. Sawyer just kind of lets these things go. His plants are way bigger than mine. They kind of could use a bigger pot. But for the most part, that is the front garden here. I will meet you in the back to show you the back one. Here's another one of those plants that I'm using for ground cover. It's great ground cover. Easy to chop back. But they got these beautiful flowers. Blue as could be. I don't see blue flowers all the time, I guess. Kinda. But these things start off as this, I mean, kind of looks like a leaf, but this little seed pod thing. And then out of that comes an emergence of this nice flower. And they're nice to look at because they look like little neon lights down in the garden. And over in this part of the yard, which is like the back left, there's a blueberry bush. This is a fern that I got in Michigan. This part right here kind of broke off, but still just staying alive there. Oh, that part grew in Michigan. That part grew in Kansas. They grow pretty fast. We've got a white pine from Michigan. And then this is a redbud tree for my daughter. My daughter got it for me for Father's Day. She knows I like these plants. Redbud plants in the first of the spring, as soon as it starts to get nice, these things are in full bloom purple, beautiful plants. And then I've got some pots that I got from somebody. It's got some columbines. Really interesting flowers. Never seen them. And then over here in this garden, got some ties that, I mean, they seem to be doing alright, but I think maybe they could get a little bit more sunlight back here. This thing is supposed to be a black pearl, but obviously it doesn't look too pearly. It's growing fine. It's growing taller than it should, so I think that's definitely a hybrid. And then this is supposed to be one of those, but this came from the same seed batch. But as far as like the peppers go, I was getting purple flowers, and I'm getting like purple on the peppers that are seeing sun here. And they are a little spicy. And the peppers they look similar. Let's see if we got one here. Yeah, there's a big one. These are really purple. I mean, the plant obviously it's like the same size, same type of spread, but I just got some different diversity of genetics. And through here, if it wanted to grow, I would let it grow, like those little blue flowers and stuff. But for the most part, each one of these plants is taking up every bit of space that it needed to. In this first row here, I've got a number of different habaneros. These things are all doing really nice. I mean, these habaneros are really starting to blow up, and I mean, my Carolina Reaper row, which is the second row, leaves on these things are just enormous. Like I got huge hands, but these things are huge. And compared to like these, and that's pretty small, that's pretty huge. And even the plants themselves, like just the girthiness of the stem, it's like they're huge. And we do have some fruit that's been going on. We got some, these things are throwing off a lot of flowers, but I think they could get a little more sunlight. I found a tomato hornworm on this plant, and that thing's been a pet for a little bit. I've got some other habaneros here. Looks like we've got some that are actually sitting on. Get that. I don't know if this one has any. Doesn't look like any on that. And we got some on this. It's supposed to be like a red one, I think. But they're looking pretty good. And then Sawyer had a phenotype of a peach colored habanero last year. And these things are just super light green until they change. At one point, the ripening stage, these things look like they're white. It's pretty cool. And we got another Thai. This Thai is doing really well. I mean, it's very small for the amount of plant you have. You have a number of peppers. I mean, size-wise, it is growing just the way I wanted it to, where I put my shortest row here, medium row, tall row, so that I get the staircase effect, so that when the sunlight comes in, it all hits them pretty evenly and they shade the ground really well. For the most part, it's pretty shaded. And I've got some like marigolds mixed in here. And this big one here, it's got, I mean, it's like blooms galore. This thing is an overwintered Ahi Rico Bacatum variety. And it's huge. It's a bush. You get a lot of peppers off that, and I already actually got some. And we got an overwintered poblano, which side by side you can see the color difference here. And it's already got bigger poblanos than it had last year. I had this thing in a pot, but this thing's growing like really fast. It was smaller yesterday, and then it's putting on more fruit here. And then last but not least, I've got two plants that were originally Ahi Rico mother plant, like the rootstock, right? And then I took a number of different peppers and grafted it to it. As far as this goes, this must be a shishito. So that looks like our first pepper on the grafted plant is a shishito. And then like it's all different kinds. If you just look down into it, you'll find where it's grafted. But I'd say between these two plants I probably have like 15 different kinds. And just look at the different leaf shape between these two. But I'm doing very well. And I've got these what I know as wandering Jews growing down here. But it seems like the garden's doing very well. And I'm about to take a soil sample and see if any beneficial things are growing better, to see what I could decide to do to make better soil in the future. Thank you for joining me. Today is July 4th, 2022.